The deep thinker's world is the place where your mind sees everything not as it first appears, but as it might mean, become, or conceal. It is a world shaped less by events themselves, and more by the way those events echo, collide, and rearrange themselves inside your thoughts. To be a deep thinker is not simply to think a lot. It is to experience reality through layers, to feel the weight of nuance in a passing comment, to sense patterns where others see randomness, and to live with a constant awareness that every surface hides something underneath. In this world, perception is never passive. The deep thinker does not merely look at the sky and register blue. They notice how the color shifts at the edges, how it mirrors their mood, how it once meant navigation, hope, or fear to someone else in another century. The mind automatically asks why, how, and what if, often without permission. This can feel like a gift and a burden at the same time. While others move easily through moments, the deep thinker pauses, sometimes involuntarily, to examine the moment from multiple angles, as if truth might be missed if not carefully inspected. Time behaves differently here. The past is not gone. It is archived, replayed, and reinterpreted. Memories are not static snapshots, but living objects that change shape as understanding grows. A conversation from years ago can suddenly gain new meaning after a single sentence overheard today. The future, too, is constantly under construction, imagined in branching possibilities that stretch far beyond practical necessity. This sensitivity to time can create wisdom, but it can also create restlessness, as the mind struggles to stay fully rooted in the present, while carrying so much mental baggage from before in anticipation of what might come next. Emotion in the deep thinker's world is rarely simple. Feelings arrive layered, complex, and sometimes contradictory. Joy may come with an undercurrent of sadness, not because happiness is incomplete, but because the mind recognizes how fragile it is. Pain, likewise, is rarely just pain. It becomes a question, a lesson, a symbol. The deep thinker does not only feel emotions, but studies them, tracing their origins and implications. This can make emotions richer and more meaningful, but it can also make them harder to escape. Letting go is difficult when every feeling feels important, when each one seems to contain a message that must be decoded. Relationships are especially intense through this lens. Other people are not just individuals, but entire universes to be explored. A deep thinker notices micro-expressions, shifts in tone, pauses between words. They read between lines, even when no one intended to write anything there. This can create profound empathy, an almost intuitive understanding of others' inner worlds. At the same time, it can lead to misunderstanding and overinterpretation, where imagined meanings cause unnecessary distance or hurt. Loving deeply often means thinking deeply, and that combination can be both beautiful and exhausting. The inner dialogue never truly quiets in this world. Thoughts converse with each other, debate, interrupt, and loop back again. Silence is rare, and when it does appear, it can feel unsettling, as though something important has been forgotten. The mind is always scanning, analyzing, connecting. Even rest becomes an activity of reflection. This constant mental motion can fuel creativity, insight, and original ideas. But it can also lead to overthinking, where decisions feel heavier than they need to be, and clarity is buried under too many perspectives. Meaning is the currency of the deep thinker's world. Nothing feels neutral. A song is not just entertainment. It is a story, a memory trigger, a philosophical statement. A book is not just words on a page. It is a conversation across time with another mind. Even ordinary routines carry symbolic weight. This hunger for meaning pushes the deep thinker toward art, philosophy, science, spirituality, or any space where questions are welcomed rather than dismissed. Yet it can also make everyday life feel strangely hollow when meaning is not immediately apparent, leading to a sense of alienation in a world that often values speed and simplicity over depth. There is also a heightened awareness of complexity and contradiction. The deep thinker understands that people can be good and flawed, kind and selfish, brave and afraid, all at once. This awareness resists easy judgments and simple narratives. While this makes the deep thinker more tolerant and nuanced, it can also make them feel out of step with a culture that prefers clear villains and heroes. Moral certainty feels suspicious when reality appears so tangled. The result is often a quiet loneliness, not from lack of connection, but from the difficulty of fully sharing such a complex inner landscape. Despite its challenges, the deep thinker's world is rich with quiet rewards. There is profound satisfaction in understanding something deeply, in tracing an idea to its roots, in seeing connections others miss. There is beauty and subtlety in the unspoken, in the spaces between words. The deep thinker often finds solace in solitude, not because they dislike people, but because solitude allows the mind to stretch out, to roam freely without interruption. In these moments, the world feels expansive rather than overwhelming. Growth in this world comes not from shutting down the mind, but from learning to guide it gently. The deep thinker eventually discovers that not every thought needs to be chased, not every question answered immediately. Wisdom emerges when depth is balanced with presence, when analysis is paired with acceptance. The mind does not need to see everything at once to understand enough. Some truths unfold only when given time and trust. Ultimately, the deep thinker's world is not a separate reality, but a deeper layer, the same one everyone inhabits. It reveals the hidden textures of experience, the quiet significance of ordinary moments, and the endless complexity of being human. To live in this world is to feel deeply, think expansively, and constantly search for meaning, even when that search is tiring. It is a way of seeing that transforms life into an ongoing inquiry, where every moment, no matter how small, holds the potential to be understood more fully.